At midnight, the tunnel didn't move, but the world around it did, and suddenly the people standing inside were no longer in the same country. The air was damp and cold, smelling of stone and iron rails. A few hours earlier, this tunnel had been nothing more than a passage, a way through a mountain, a shortcut for trains, workers and commuters who crossed it without a second thought. Now, with the turning of a calendar page and the stroke of distant pens, it had become a border. No walls were built, no bricks were laid, yet everything had changed. At one end of the tunnel, new uniforms appeared. At the other, unfamiliar flags were raised. Soldiers who had once shared cigarettes now stood facing each other, hands resting on weapons, unsure where to look. The echo of footsteps carried differently now, each step measured, cautious, political. For decades, the tunnel had ignored history. It survived wars, regimes, and revolutions. People passed through it to visit family, deliver goods, fall in love, and return home before dinner. The mountain above didn't care who ruled below. But borders are not made for mountains. They are made for people. By morning, a thin line had been marked on the tunnel floor. Paint, chalk, sometimes nothing at all, just an understanding enforced by power. One side meant new laws, new currency, new loyalty. Crossing it now required papers, permissions, explanations. A walk that once took seconds could end in arrest. The strangest part wasn't the soldiers or the flags. It was the silence. Trains stopped running. Footsteps faded. The tunnel, once alive with motion, became a hollow lung holding its breath. Families who lived just meters apart could hear each other through stone, but could no longer meet. A grandmother stood at one end, her grandson at the other, waving across an invisible divide that might as well have been an ocean. Some tried to cross anyway, a suitcase carried too far, a wrong step taken in the dark. Lives changed in moments, not by choice, but by geography rewritten overnight. Years passed, politics shifted again. In some places the border softened, in others it hardened into steel doors and cameras. Yet the tunnel remained, patiently holding the memory of a time when it was simply a tunnel. And that is its quiet lesson. History doesn't always arrive with explosions. Sometimes it arrives at midnight, silent, administrative, final. It draws a line through stone and calls it destiny. And the next morning, ordinary people wake up on different sides of the world without ever moving at all. If this story moved you, take a moment to like, share and subscribe and leave a comment with your thoughts. It helps the channel grow and it keeps these forgotten moments alive.